Good morning and welcome to the Darkmom Consortium for April the 9th, 2021. I'm Mom. How's everybody doing this morning? I am still Edless. Am I still Edless here? Let's take a look. It does appear I'm still Edless. I'm very sad, but next week for sure, I hope. Keeping fingers crossed. Alright, it is 6 a.m. and the Endeavors have just popped up here in not sunny Indianapolis, pitch black Indianapolis for the next 45 minutes or so. Real soon that sun will be up by now, and I will be, well, maybe not by now, but close. And I can start bicycling again. Okay, so we've got Polaron damage on the ground, we've got defeat Vodwar on the ground, and we've got defeat captains on the ground. Well, captains, 6 of them. Can do it in Brushfire, but that's a really long story for that. We could go see how many we can pull out of home and repeat that. Who can do home? I think there's only 2 characters here who can do home. And that would be Complicatus and Gornalicious. And Gornalicious has got way too much dilithium to cook right now. So let's see if we can share the love a little bit. There's Complicatus. If not, we have to go get her a Polaron weapon. Good morning, Obi-Wan. How are you doing? Well, Obi-Wan, everybody's entitled to their opinions and their taste. And I'm sorry, Discovery sucks. And I might not feel that way if one, they had decent actors, decent scripts, better photography, better direction, decent technology, and better science. But aside from those minor little things, I hated Discovery from about 2 minutes into it. When we've got a character who I thought was going to be fun, which was Michelle Yeoh, hiking around in the desert, doing their weird little shape, and at the end you discover it's the shape of the Starfleet shield, right? Guess what? You couldn't see that from space. It's this wide. You can't see things that wide. No matter how big it is, you've got to have width in addition to height. So, if you're going to screw up the basics that badly, I'm going to be an unhappy camper. The science is lacking is the understatement of the century. And the thing is, the actors aren't that good. The scripts aren't that good. The plots aren't that good. The cohesion isn't good. You get 2 good actors in there. Doug Jones, I think, is great in it. And Anson Mount was good in it in the few episodes he was in. But you can't have a character that appears for a few episodes and disappears and expect to pin a series on it. No one else in there is that good. And the scripts are terrible. Okay, some of the scripts aren't terrible, but there's yet to be a single script that comes through as brilliant. And by season 3 or 4 of TNG, you had at least a few great episodes. Discovery, no. Original series doesn't count because it didn't work that way. Deep Space Nine was definitely into an awesome arc at that point. I'm not a big fan of Voyager, but by season 3 they were starting to figure out where their weaknesses were, where their strengths were, and they were working to compensate for it. And they're also beginning to let the Doctor, who is a really good actor, Robert Picardo, do some good acting, and it really started to work. Even Enterprise by season 3 had at least 3 or 4 great episodes, and that wasn't a great series. Discovery hasn't done it. Now, I understand why you can't really have episodes that just shine when you're only doing 10 episodes as being a whole story arc. It's really difficult. But Picard pulled it off with 2 standout episodes. And again, 10 minor little movie stories in that. So anything that can't shine in the first year, I can forgive. I won't watch it again, most likely, but I gave season 2 a shot because I promised DT I would. And going back, I couldn't even tell you some of the actors and actresses' names, and I can't remember more than a few character names. And if the ones I can't remember are more from playing this game. Good morning, Wolfie. That said, I've come to like Lower Decks, so it's not that I can't appreciate or dislike a show, rewatch it, and come to appreciate where it's got strengths. So with Lower Decks, for example, didn't like it at first, still don't like the pacing. Good morning, Lord Sepulchre. But I can begin to really appreciate where they're trying to go with that. But then you take something like the Orville. Came out of the gate, all guns blazing. It was great. It isn't perfect, but boy, they got the genre. They understood where they were going. They understood their audience. They didn't play to the audience, but they took what they knew people enjoyed and worked with it to go a little bit further. I'm really glad to hear they're back in production. Good morning, Lord Sepulchre. Good morning, Wolfie. Obi-Wan, good morning to you guys. So glad to see you're all here this morning. Took yesterday off to sleep, which was really fun. Now I've gotten back into taking my classes on Wednesday nights, but that's a 6-hour round trip drive, and I get a little tired on that drive home since I still get up at 4 in the morning on Wednesdays. So it makes for a super long day on Thursday, so I slept in an extra hour. Woke up, it was 6:30, and I'm thinking, well, so much for doing the show today, but I got my endeavors done and went off to work. I am waking up here, Wolfie. I am staying home this weekend, so I'm not going to drive back and forth, which is great. Bad news is that the house that I was going to go look at tomorrow, the market here is so good that the houses are selling in 1 day or less. So I haven't had a chance to go look at a house that I want to buy. I might have to go buy a brand new house just to be able to buy a house, which I don't really want to do. All right, so we're going to do pull around damage if we've got home available. I hope you guys are all doing good today. Yeah, before we do that, Mom, let's make sure we can do what we want out of it. Do I really want to do that? That's a long sequence for that. Just to get the captains. That's a pain in the butt. But our only other option is to go to Nimbus. I'm so tired of going to Nimbus for captains. But we're going to go to Nimbus. As the Ferengi would say, time is money. That is providing I've got Nimbus on here. Not seeing it. Okay. Well, there you go. I've never done Nimbus on this one. Well, let's see where we are. We're at Dyson Sphere. You know what? Hate to do it, but looks like we're going to have to drag Gorny out. Oh, excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that, Lord Sepulchre. Yeah, my husband's had a small setback in his cancer, so keeping fingers crossed. The prognosis is still like fantastic, so I'm being hopeful here. We get captains on board where we really can't. Ew. Yeah, good thing. Those aren't something you want to mess with.
We'll need to find their central...
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I do all this and I forget to put a Polaron weapon on him. Let's make sure that does Polaron damage. It does. Why are the water pipes bursting, Wolfie?
Enemy life signs ahead.
I mean, they do here, but that's because it gets freaking cold. I mean, like 20 below zero cold. As long as it stays above 40 inside your house, you should be good. Let's see if he counts as a captain. He does not. Do you believe, however, that this guy does? Really? Oh, I didn't know they were able to diagnose those. That's interesting. Back in my day, you learned about them in the autopsy because they used to just burst and that was it. You know what does more Polaron damage when you're actually using the Polaron weapon, right? That was dumb. Oh. So, when you're talking about laying pipes, are you talking about laying pipes for a home? Is that something people do on their own? That is, versus the government coming out and doing all of it and or making sure everything's done correctly? Got my Polaron damage? Oh, I do have my Polaron damage. Well, we'll stick with that for the moment and switch back in a moment here. Oh, well, that would explain it, folks. I do have an underpowered weapon here, but I'm running this on Elite. That would explain quite a bit. Let's beam up and reset that. Good morning, WC. How are you? Well, that's totally cool. Lord Sepulchre, I wish your grandma the best. I wish you the best, too. Let's try that again.
We'll need to find their central computer core. Once we're there, I'll begin.
WC, if you're talking to me, no, I've been to sleep and back again.
Proceed with caution.
It's 6 in the morning, here. And did I get the right weapon? No. So we don't care right now. Let's pull one more captain, then we'll go off to Nimbus and have some fun. As I was saying to Lucy, I'm wondering why I'm just not doing any plasma damage. Or sorry, Polaron damage. And mostly because I have my disruptors on. Ooh, made a mistake there. Okay, so there's 2 captains. Let's run up and get one more, and then we'll go do Nimbus. I believe there's one more right up here. So last night we were working on Jason E. Waldfisher's ship for Pimp Your Starship. And we experimented with his cannon build and a torp build on the same boat. So very interesting. But much as I love the idea of having an effective cannon build, I haven't been able to do it. Mostly because I just like the gratification of insta-death with beams and or cannons. Plus cannons sound good. So I'm back to the Zatvash cannon build, which I would like to put on the jellyfish. All right, let's see what Wolfie says. Pipes for the suburbs. Our municipality's water crew has no clue what they're doing, but, I don't like saying this, but it is unfortunately true, their skin color is right. They refuse to ask, take advice, or any help from people who know how to do the job properly. It's incredibly sad. I can't say that around here, Wolfie, but I can say that it's not skin color that makes that determination, at least here. It is attitude. I occasionally have to deal with the municipalities at work. We had a flooding incident recently, and I get the attitude of, it's not my department, it's their department. Oh, it's not our department, it's theirs. Round and round and round and round and round, and it goes way back to whoever laid the pipes didn't mark them correctly a few decades back. And we have no idea where the correct pipes are. We finally were able to find somebody who knew, and we're able to start working on it. It turns out they weren't laid correctly, and the locations aren't quite right for today's understanding of it. So it's going to be a massive project, and unfortunately, we own it in every sense of the word. But how much of our unwillingness to ask is from, well, lack of training is part of it, but also from fear. Admitting you don't know how to do something so often boils down to you're scared to admit you don't know how to do something, and you're too afraid of losing your job to ask how to do it correctly. Asking for help is frequently seen as a weakness. And since yesterday was a super dull day at work, I spent part of it going through some of my LinkedIn articles that have been forwarded to me, and one of them was all about the quality of leadership, especially post-work during the end stages here, of what I hope are the end stages of COVID, are the attributes that good leadership needs to take on in order to try and take development of companies and people to the next level. And part of that is that attitude of fear of losing job, fear of whatever, and the effect it has on employees, which is that, if you ask for help, if your boss has you ask for help, you're weak and you shouldn't be a member of the team. Where instead it should be asking for help is a sign of wanting to get better at your job, which will benefit the company. But it is very hard to instill that into people, especially now. How can you take a job and not have training? Oh my God, it's so hard to get a job here unless you know somebody in those sectors without training, because it turns into massive lawsuits instantly. Let's see if we've got these missions here. Oh, yes. Let's put the right weapon back on here. There we go. We are better now. Let's go find us a couple captains here. 3 more captains. Let's make sure we got one picked up here. That's the one we want. Let's go trigger the Nimbosian captain. So I thought traditionally you only had to find 3 of these, but I'm not sure if that's entirely true. Wow, is that true? Yes. The thing you need to watch out for feedback from your colleagues versus feedback from, well, classmates, is a lot of time feedback from colleagues feeds into the echo chamber. Everybody says it's great because it needs to be great or you're all in trouble. And how many products have hit the market with that attitude? All right, hostages, we can wait. We can be patient here. I've gotten 4 of you. Want to go for 5? Let's go for 5. again, this comes down to fear is one aspect. I think the other one, of course, is money. The powers that be have the money, the position. There's my hostages. Thank you very much. Alright guys, you're free. BEE? Not sure what BEE is. Oh, if my electricity lasted just a moment longer, that would be excellent. Okay, so that's 4 captains. Let's go pick up one on the desert front. So what is BEE? WC, if you got co-workers who can be honest with you and will be honest with you, knowing that everybody's going to do better from it, that is excellent. I have to say I love my current job. There's very open feedback. This is a problem, this works, this doesn't work. And great communications with a lot of our clients. Ah. I don't know if we have anything with the same exact label, Wolfie, though the concept is certainly universal. But open feedback, yeah. So I made a mistake a couple of days into the new job. Minor mistake, I mean stupid mistake. And it was not that I didn't fess up. I actually went forward and said, hey, I think I made this mistake. They're like, oh, it's not a problem. I'm like, yeah. If I made the mistake, I want to acknowledge it. I want feedback. I want everyone to know that I'm always going to be honest about what's going on here. So I will admit there's sometimes that because my situation's slightly different than everybody else's, having to go and ask for something to be done over and over and over and over and over gets embarrassing. Everybody else feeds into a VPN, I don't. So everything I have to do has to go a different way. What do we need here on our assets? We need... Ooh, how did I get so many Omegas? Clearly been down on Dyson Sphere a wee bit too much. Is that a training module? No. Go! Be destroyed. See if I care. One more to go here. Alright, everyone's down here killing the Gorn. I only need one more captain. Let's try Nimbus 3. See if we can trigger one more captain down here. Maybe not. Alright, I think we're going to have to go off to the Vodwar lands. Wonder if we can find a captain in Vodwaria? Kobalistan, that was the name of it. So let me tell you about this morning's adventure into open feedback and echo bubbles. I like protein drinks. I was at the dairy and they have their new protein drink. So I bought it. And took one sip and had to throw it away. It's got sucralose in it. Like a lot of people, sucralose to me tastes like petrochemical. It's got a weird bitter flavor. Sucralose. It is a... Shh, I spelled that wrong. Sucralose. It's a sugar substitute that's actually made from sugar. Lower in calories. It's like 650 times sweeter than sugar. And it's used in low-calorie things. I didn't buy a low-calorie thing. I bought a protein drink. But like I said, one sip and it's just, horrible. And I'm sure whoever put that out there and decided that this would be a good product got feedback from everybody going, oh yeah, everybody wants low-calorie as well as high protein. It's nasty. So I wrote the company. Not a mean letter. I said, if it had said in big letters contains artificial sweeteners, I would not have purchased it. And their argument is, well, technically it's not artificial, which technically it's not, but apparently they'd had enough feedback from other consumers who were like, oh, sucrose, that they now have two versions of it. One low-cal with sucralose and one made with honey, which apparently tastes good. Which I'm totally behind. Totally behind. If I'm going to eat calories, give me some honey, give me some sugar. I will control that by eating it or not eating it. So that was a nice feedback. I think the commercial name here is Splenda. So I will go in search of their other project. Apparently, there's two different formulations. One is in the small packets that you buy like for your coffee, and it's slightly different when you buy it in bulk for cooking. Okay, I'm definitely not going to get my sixth captain here. Let's see. Well, we've already committed to doing that, so we're off to Kobalistan. Yeah, it's really nasty. I'm not terribly fond of sugar substitutes. I've even learned to drink my coffee without sugar. Put milk in it, though. So the same company that makes the protein drink runs a dairy, a huge dairy. And it's been featured on shows like Dirty Jobs. It's kind of nice. I mean, it's not a... It's more humane than most dairy farms are. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying it's perfect. But the milk is excellent. They have higher quality product, better cow breeding and all that stuff. And the animals seem to be treated decently. Well, pretty much. They had a huge problem and they wound up firing the guys and getting them prosecuted for animal cruelty. Again, comes back to having workers poorly trained and poor attitudes. Alright, off to Kobalistan. But yeah, their milk's phenomenal. And then driving home the other day, went a different direction, wound up going past a house where they have a couple of cows and they sell the milk. Kobalistan, yeah. Haven't you ever been to scenic Kobalistan? Hang on, while my ship's going there, let's see if I kept it here. I did keep it here. There you go, WC. Postcard of Kobalistan. I made a bunch of those for the virtual convention, which, if we don't have a convention, we'll do that this year. Wolfie, sugar does not make people fat. Too much sugar makes people fat. And even then, everything in moderation. Ooh, and we do have a farm that sells fresh eggs and fresh, or I'm going to say home-brewed honey. It's not exactly what it is to feed powder in the ground. Just need to do 20 and find a captain. Let's go find one. Well, I went back to where I was born and raised, where we used to have the family dairy farm. And while the dairy farm is gone, and has been since the 50s, because my grandfather sold the land, all the houses that he helped build there are still there. It's kind of cool to go back, and I'm sure most of the houses have been upgraded because it's now more of a summer home place, which it actually was back then too. And his homes were basic but well done. Courtesy of how low-lying the ground is, though, they all had well water, and the only pipes they had was from the well into the house. So when they put in commercial piping, I'm going to say in the 70s, it was a horrible financial thing for everybody to have to pay like $30,000 on a house that might only cost $20,000. Well, I bought a bag of sugar when I moved in here in August of last year. I still have half of the sugar left. And I'd probably have more than that, but I wanted to bake a pie for my husband. Seriously, one more captain, guys. That's all I need. How hard can it be to get one captain? Don't make me go back to Imperza. They say that sugar is an addictive thing. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's really hard to, stop using sugar, and then one day you decide, okay, I'm going to stop. You discontinue it, you take it out of most of the foods you eat, and after a couple of days you realize that taste is gone. Your desire to get it has been reduced. Okay, I can't get that 6th captain. Let's go back to home. And try that again. I'm certainly no saint about not eating sugar. I like sugar. Somebody on this chat feeds my addiction to sugar every Christmas. I'll have you know I still have 2 truffles left, WC. That may not be true after this weekend, since I'm doing a little vacation-y weekend here. Not to be sullied with buying a house, apparently. So I want to go house hunting, and the last year has been very challenging. You have to have permission from the owners. Everybody's being super safe, super secure, and they're trying to do video tours instead of having people go into houses, which is really hard when you're looking at a house and you're getting serious. You want to see the house. But with the exception of the county where I am in, they have dropped the mask restriction, which means I can start looking at houses. Which is all well and good, but I'm still going to carry it with me. It's just, I've had my shots. A lot of people have had their shots. But there's still idiots out there. And until we hit a much higher vaccination rate than we've got, and it's pretty good here. I mean, they've been really good about getting the word out, and people do understand about herd immunity and everything else. But they're still trying to get as many covered as possible. But the upshot is I can go looking at houses this weekend at the new developments if I want to. And I don't have to wear a mask if I don't want to. I'm probably still going to wear a mask. Finally, man, that was tough. That shouldn't have been that bad. Alright, don't need to open those because honestly, Gorney doesn't need that much. Let's jump over to the other count and see what popped up there. There we go. Well, Wolfie, you don't have to eat the chocolates even when he buys them for you. I, on the other hand, am deliberately trying to fatten up my husband, so when he goes out and buys cookies and pies and cakes and stuff and donuts, definitely encourage that behavior. All right, we're looking at D1 arthropods. We're looking at Terran ships in the battle zone and physical damage on the ground. Well, we can tie two of these together. Let's see what we got for some physical damage here. Like throwing knives? That tune can't do that yet. All right. I think we're going to have to go get out Kefka with her machine gun.
Cadets arriving from Starfleet Academy must report to Admiral Quinn's office upon arrival.
Come on. Swear to goodness, there you go. Swear to goodness you had that out there 15 minutes ago. All right, D1 arthropods and Terran battleships. We can do this one. Okay. Well, let's all keep our fingers crossed that Ed's okay, and we'll get in touch with us as soon as he can. And where are we going here? There. Off to Nimbus again. Ed's been missing for almost a month, Wolfie. He was having internet issues, but he was still being able to stay in touch with us through dicey phone internet. And now, a month is a lot, yeah. I have been told, though, that his internet ISP there is just awful. I mean, really, really, really bad. So getting a month to get the service corrected is not unheard of. But he's also not answering his old phone, so we don't know if there's anything up. But it was saying that he had phone service because he was using his phone for the game for a couple of weeks. So my guess is he may have changed phone numbers. I hope. Hold on a second here. We only have to kill 20. Let's make this worthwhile. As I gathered, it kind of sounds like his internet cable gets strung through his neighbor's apartment to reach him, which is one of those WTF moments. Which means to get his internet worked on might mean going through the apartment of the neighbors as well. I don't know. I know at my cousin's house, oh, puppies out here. In Sweden, there's a lot of things they can't do because it would damage walls of historic buildings. So, for example, to put in electricity in a new room, they had to do raceway, cables, tubes to run the cabling through. And it's on the outside of the wall because the walls couldn't be damaged. Let's see if we can get our 20 arthropods and our physical damage and some of this. Take care, Wolfie. One of the houses I was looking at, WC, is a historic house in scenic Noblesville, Indiana. And it had been originally a house, had been converted to no, it was a hotel then for a while, small hotel back in the day, 1800s. Then it became a 4-flat, 4 apartments in one building, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then was reconverted into a house. So things that I adore in terms of super high ceilings, which is very common for that time frame with the heat they have here. Tin ceilings. I don't know if you're familiar with tin ceilings, but I adore them. My husband hates them, so that's an issue. My gun is not doing gun things. That's really weird. Yeah, I know, technical terms, gun things. You know what would be cool for a drop moving forward? It would be cool if they would drop training kits. Or sorry, not kits. What am I thinking of? The things to train your bridge officers. Okay. These things. That would be a fun drop. Yeah. Been there. In fact, I was mentioning this the other day that when the winter event comes along, actually the summer event for that matter too, I try to set all of my trays exactly the same way, because if you're doing the biathlon, for example, and you have to do the jump from ground to space, or ground to air, it's easy if it's always on the same toggle. But then all of a sudden you get into, oh, you put on a different toggle and, no, don't kill her yet. I get to, I want to come kill the queen. So the jump is always on 4, except when I forgot and I moved it 7 on this one and 6 on this one. And I'd basically completely screw up everything. So why am I doing this when there's probably something else I could be doing that would be more profitable? Well, my summer builds, or my summer trays, are exactly the same every year, because you don't really need them when you're on Ryza. Winter's a little different. Winter doesn't matter as much because you don't have to jump back and forth in the same way. Let's see. Turn that in. And let's go get a captain. Now let me do some more ground damage. Where are we? We're going over here today. But anyway, as I was saying, so the historic house that had been a hotel, had been a house, had been a 4-flat. Ideally, you'd have to gut it and redo it. And yeah, there's so many restrictions on what you can do. You can make changes, but you can't make changes that are inappropriate for the time period. So yes, you can bring in everything and it has to be up to code, but you also can't mess around too much with the original aesthetic. But which aesthetic? The hotel? The house? The 4-flat? And after all that, I go out there and I discover that houses in Noblesville basically don't have yards. They have a little tiny strip of grass. And I think my dogs might resent that. Thank you. Is there any other way we can make any money doing this right now? Not really. let's go see if we can go kill some more worms really quick. Then we'll go off and do the battle zone before we end this up for the day. Out of curiosity, Edgardo. Let's see what he's... Oh, that's one problem. Let's give him... What have we got here for ground? Some Lex throwing knives. See if I've got any more melee weapons in here for physical damage. Little Batleth there, and Lita. Lita. What will we do with you, Lita? Doesn't look like I've got anything else for ground or for physical damage here. See if that helps at all. I think it's kind of cruel that I'm coming out here and shooting these poor worms for no particular reason. Not entirely true. With any luck, I'll be able to trigger the boss fight up here at the station. Oh good, their damage is counting. Yay! And there they go. Hey, that did work. Let's do that then. Getting hit by worm snot clearly isn't good for you. Guys, over here now. Thank you. And there's my physical damage. That worked out very well. Let's get the captain. Oops, who did we miss? And there's the captain. And we've got our physical damage, so let's just have some fun with him. Very nice. Alright, last thing we've got left here is Terran ships in the battle zone. Since we're looking at fast kill, because we have to go to work in 10 minutes, let's grab Tanky McTankface and have some fun. I do like how when you're warping out, you go straight through an asteroid. Alrighty. What have we got here for this one? 20 ships? 10 ships. Easy peasy. Alright. Ugh. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll go do the stupid space bagels. Ugh. Well, at least there's other people here. Should trigger some extra ones. Let's go over here and get this guy. I was in here the other day and someone was like, oh, don't trigger the devices. I need them to spawn bad guys. But lithium? And I'll stick around and finish out the whole sequence just so everybody can get their stuff. But let me get my stuff too. Well, we'd still get the objective, and we might have to do 2 different zones, but the time involved would be the same, and you get to lithium. That's my attitude. Alright, I'm just going to hover here so this guy can get his, because I got my 10. I wish, however, you could just send out a tether and sit on that and everybody else can go do their thing. Let's see what we've got here for salvage. Ooh, we do not want to do that one. Yeah, let's pitch that stuff. This may not happen, even with my sitting here. Ooh, goody, some more Zat Flash boxes. Let's see if they've been really clever in Picard. When Picard learns about the name of the Romulan group, the Zat Vash, he should have said something like Vash. That name's always trouble. But no. Good opportunity for a line, and they didn't use it. Okay, I've actually seen 2 episodes of Friends, so I can kind of understand that reference. I was at 1 episode, but I accidentally saw a second one the other day while I was waiting for something. And I couldn't change the channels. So there's 2 ships sitting over there, and if they're sitting over here, we'd be more than a third of the way done. But no. So that comes down to, do they not understand how to do this particular mission? Well, they're going to have to figure it out because I need to get ready to go to work. All right, folks, I want to thank everybody who joined me this morning here as we play through our endeavors. I hope you all have a great day. I'm in town for the weekend, so I might actually be on. I'll be in game for sure. Yeah, Gravity Kills isn't bad. You just have to have a little bit of being not stupid to make it work. WC, lovely to chat with you as always. By the way, my co-worker in the UK always ends with lovely to chat with you when we're on the phone, and it's always lovely to chat with him. Wolfie, I know you've already gone, but have a great day. Lord Sepulchre, fingers crossed for your grandma. Hope everything stays well with her. For everybody else who's out there, take care, have a great day. We may see you somewhere around the galaxy. If not, talk to you Monday morning. Bye-bye.